everybody? Gaithersburg, Maryland is one of the few places in Montgomery County that you still get really good value. You've got everything there. You've got stores and restaurants and parks, and the housing is still really affordable. So today we're going to take a deep dive and I'll tell you the pros and the cons of living in Gaithersburg, Maryland. So let's just dive right in. If you're new to my channel, my name is Caryn Gardiner. I am a realtor here in Maryland, DC, and I am committed to putting out weekly content on Maryland and DC, neighborhood tours, pros and cons. So if you have any ideas, like one of my subscribers did, she asked for Gaithersburg, just put it in the comments. I'll put it on my list. I promise you I'll get to it. Gaithersburg began in 1765 as a small agricultural settlement town that was called Logtown. Later became incorporated in 1878. So my first pro about living in Gaithersburg is its history. Old Town is what we call it, the historic part of Gaithersburg, and it's so cool. You can walk around and look at all the historic buildings. The old train station, they've got a train there you can check out. They have Old Town Plaza where there's water fountains and you'll see kids running through them, and it's just a really, really cool part of Gaithersburg that's unique to Montgomery County. But there's a lot more to Gaithersburg than just Old Town, which is very cool. In fact, 68,000 people live in Gaithersburg today. It still has some of the best home values in Montgomery County, which is my second pro. You can still find a great single-family home with a yard and a garage in Gaithersburg in the $400,000 and $500,000. Next week, I'm going to do a neighborhood tour where I'm going to tour 5 neighborhoods in Gaithersburg, so make sure you ring that bell so you'll get notified when the video comes out. Home values in Gaithersburg, what you get for your money compared to its neighbors, Potomac and Rockville, you can't beat it. My next pro about living in Gaithersburg is there is so much to do right there in Gaithersburg. You've got the Rio Center, which has a big movie theater and has a big lake that it's on where you can take out those paddle boats and you can walk around outside to shops and restaurants. You've got Downtown Crowd, which is a newer development also outside that is so nice. And it's a little bit fancier than Rio, but you have all those shops and restaurants in Downtown Crown. And remember, North Potomac is literally Gaithersburg. It is Gaithersburg, just they call it North Potomac. So if you want to go to the Kentlands or the Lakelands, which are in North Potomac / Gaithersburg, you have access to all their shops and movie theaters and restaurants. You will never lack for things to do or places to eat if you live in Gaithersburg, Maryland. They even have a local Gaithersburg Book Festival, which is super cute. I'll put the link below. It is virtual this year, but hopefully soon it'll get back to normal. And as far as employment, a lot of people come to Gaithersburg for work. There's a lot of big companies there. We've got AstraZeneca, Lockheed Martin, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, which is where they talk about facial recognition. You've got the Advantis Healthcare and Sedesco. There's just a lot of jobs to be had right here in Gaithersburg, Maryland. The next pro about living here is that you've got great access to so many different parks. One of the most beautiful parks I've ever seen is the Seneca Creek Park. This park is comprised of 6,300 acres and extends over 14 miles along the scenic route of Seneca Creek. You can enjoy a day at Seneca Creek Park by having a picnic and then maybe doing some boating. You can ride your bike through the trails. There's so many different trails and lots of playgrounds to play on. It's just you can spend an entire day taking in all the beauty of Seneca Creek Park. And if that isn't enough, you also have Bower Park at Summit Farm. Here you can also go biking and jogging and skating. It's got something for everyone. The park contains several open fields, playground areas, horseshoe pit, volleyball net, and 2 ponds. It even has this amazing miniature golf course that is so much fun for people of all ages. It's got 8 challenging holes, so you've got to check this out when you're in Gaithersburg. Another great pro about Gaithersburg, Maryland is that it was ranked #1 from niche.com as the most diverse place to live in all of Maryland, as well as the most diverse suburb in all of Maryland. And I think that that's really cool. As you can see, I am a big fan of Gaithersburg, Maryland. I just think you get more for your money. You've got great amenities all around Gaithersburg. You can go visit the old town, you can go visit the parks, you can be inside, outside. It's just got a ton of things to do. And my last pro, and then I will get to some of the cons, is that you do have the MARC train in Gaithersburg that will take you from Gaithersburg all the way into DC to Union Station. So if you are going to DC, you do have the MARC train that will take you there. Which, ironically enough, leads me to my biggest con about living in Gaithersburg, and that is the commute. Sure, you have that MARC train, but if you're going anywhere else, if you're working in Bethesda or Silver Spring or in other parts of DC, north of Union Station, it's a big commute. It's gonna take you a while to get there. And that's probably why you do get more for your money, because you are much farther out than Chevy Chase, Bethesda, or even Potomac. And if I'm gonna mention the commute, I gotta mention the traffic. Maryland is a very congested state. We have a lot of people in a very small state. In fact, we're the 42nd biggest state out of the 50. So you can imagine if you have that long commute and you have a lot of people in a small state, there's gonna be a lot of traffic. The traffic is pretty brutal. Mind you, lately it hasn't been as bad, but I think we're getting back to normal, so just keep that in mind. If you're gonna live in Gaithersburg and you're gonna have to commute, you are definitely gonna run into traffic all hours of the day. The con about living in Gaithersburg is the cost of living. Now, I did say it has got better value than other of its surrounding neighbors, but it's still expensive. If you look at bestplaces.net, it's still, compared to the US average of 100, Gaithersburg is set at 126. Now, if you compare that to its neighboring cities, Rockville and Potomac, it's much more affordable. You can see in these charts that I made that if you compare Gaithersburg to Rockville and Potomac, which border Gaithersburg, the overall Gaithersburg, like I said, is 126 compared to the rest of the country, but Rockville is a 144 and Potomac is a 193. The biggest difference is definitely the housing. If you look at the median home cost of the three, that way you'll see the huge difference in Gaithersburg and Rockville and Potomac. My other cons about Gaithersburg aren't necessarily specific to Gaithersburg. They're more about just living in Maryland. So you can check them out in one of my videos about the pros and cons of Maryland. Just to sum it up real quick, in case you haven't seen those, the humidity, the bugs, the allergies. Look at my eyes, they're crazy. We're doing this in May. Right now we have the cicadas. You may like them, you may hate them, but they're here. So I get into more detail in my pros and cons of Maryland, but they're not specific to Gaithersburg itself, just to the whole state of Maryland. So like I said earlier, next week I'm planning on doing a neighborhood tour of 5 neighborhoods in Gaithersburg. I'll tell you all about it, price points, homes, styles, everything that I normally do. And if you have any other ideas, put them in the comments because I will get to it. And if you did enjoy this video, please subscribe and tell your friends. I do appreciate it. And if you are thinking about moving to Maryland or DC, my team and I would love to help you. Call, email, text, all my information is below. We'd love to help you out. We've got your back. Have a great day.